That's where the mask slips, because if you can look at grieving kids and decide that their father's assassination is actually a good thing, then it's not about justice for you or equality.
アメリカの若手保守リーダー、チャーリー・カークが公開討論イベントの場で凶弾に倒れました。先日、来日したばかりだった彼の衝撃的な事件に、世界中で様々な声が上がっています。しかし、リベラル層や左派政党を支持する人々から彼の死を嘲笑い、歓喜し、祝福する声が溢れたのです。道徳と共感を第一に掲げている左派陣営の偽善と矛盾を、今回の動画では、保守系コメンテーターのミーシャ・ペトロフが、それらの反応に対し、現代リベラルがいかに共感と理性を失いつつあるか批判し、その中に残っている良心も紹介し、言及していきます。早速見ていきましょう。翻訳、世界の視点から。
Charlie Kirk just got shot!
For speaking the truth?
Nobody deserves that.
Pro-Palestine people saying that I shouldn't pray for him because you disagreed with that. What's wrong with you?
I can't be a liberal no more.
My party is the worst.
Charlie Kirk has been assassinated, and as I discussed in the last video, we already have some people, especially on the far left, who are celebrating his death, treating it like some kind of victory. But thankfully, there are also voices, of course, on the left as well, who are calling out the hypocrisy and the dangerous mindset that they're seeing on their own side. So today we're looking at both the disturbing celebrations and the people who are willing to hold their own side accountable.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Charlie Kirk has been shot in the neck. Let me get a booyah.
Never have to hear something new from his mouth ever again.
And I'm not gonna stop showing these people's faces. I'm not gonna stop showing their I'm angry. I'm not gonna stop.
This is what happens when you start dehumanizing people that you disagree with. Their death becomes entertainment for you, and that should scare everyone, no matter where you fall on the political spectrum, especially with the girl talking about, I love it when bad things happen to bad people. Disagreeing with someone's political views does not make them a bad person. Having different beliefs about things like abortion or gun laws doesn't erase the fact that Charlie Kirk was also a husband, a father, a son, a human being who went to college campuses to have conversations with fellow Americans. You don't get to decide someone is evil simply because they don't share your worldview. The moment you convince yourself your opponent is a villain just for expressing their views, you open the door to justifying anything that happens to them, even death. And that's the exact mindset that's fueling the cycle of violence.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
He probably made like thousands of trans kids kill themselves. I literally could not give a they can get a stepfather.
You don't assign someone direct blame for every tragic outcome in a community just because you hate their politics. Because what you're saying here is, oh, I think his words were harmful, so his death is deserved. Once you accept that logic, you've opened the door to anyone being targeted for what they say, including people you agree with. If someone decides your words are harmful and then harms themselves, does that mean whatever happens next to you is justified? Of course not. That's not how a society built on law and order works. Right now, it's Charlie Kirk. What if tomorrow it's someone's views you do agree with? Free speech means we fight bad ideas with better ideas, not with violence, not with bullets.
The environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this.
What?
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this.
Yeah, so he should have been fired then and there.
Who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
You have this man on MSNBC saying right after Kirk's assassination that hateful thoughts lead to hateful actions. Using that line in this exact moment sounds like you're basically justifying a murder. It frames his death as a natural consequence of his beliefs instead of what it really was, which was a targeted act of political violence. Because here's the problem. Hateful words, hateful rhetoric, hateful thoughts, none of that gives anyone else the right to pull a trigger. First of all, different people have different definitions of what hateful words or thoughts are. If we accept that logic, then political violence isn't condemned, it's excused. And once you start excusing it, you'll start normalizing it. You can disagree with him, fine. Call out his rhetoric, absolutely. But when someone is assassinated and your first response is to try and justify it as if they brought it onto themselves, you're victim blaming. That's not analysis, that's rationalizing violence. This man should be fired. Disgusting.
Kirk just got shot. Maybe there are good guys with guns out there.
Update. Charlie Kirk is officially looking up at us, and I'm about to head to the grocery store because I'm making ribs tonight. Oh, but he was a man with a wife and kids. Yeah, and now they're safe from him.
Says the grown man celebrating an assassination. I mean, this is one of the ugliest takes I've seen so far, because you're not just celebrating a man's death, you're dragging his children into it. No matter what you think of Charlie Kirk's politics, his kids just lost their father in the most brutal public way possible. So to suggest they're somehow better off without him is dehumanizing to the entire family. That's where the mask slips, because if you can look at grieving kids and decide that their father's assassination is actually a good thing, then it's not about justice for you or equality. It's about cruelty. It shows how quickly political tribalism can strip people of basic empathy. And this can and does happen to both sides. Currently, though, one side seems to have a lot less shame when it comes to admitting their sadistic, cruel tendencies. Again, criticize an individual's beliefs all you want. You have that right. But to glorify violence, that is disgusting.
This woman who calls herself a sound healer said that her heart healed watching a bullet rip through his throat. What a disgusting thing to say.
Think of how far gone you have to be to say that your heart was healed by watching a man die violently. Your sound baths are not working. Personally, I did see the original video. It is extremely graphic, and to say that your heart was healed from seeing that, wow, I don't think that's possible. You don't sound like you have a heart to heal in the first place. Again, you don't actually want equality or safety or progress. You sound like you want revenge for someone daring to express a different political view. In Charlie's case, being openly pro-life, for example, being a Christian and holding conservative views. And because you disagreed, you think it's fine to say that you enjoyed watching him bleed out. That's barbaric. And you're laughing at that while trying to lecture the rest of us on morality. Sound healer. Right.
Wow, that's sick. Get some therapy.
But here are some TikToks that did give me hope.
As a registered Democrat, all I have to say is the Charlie Kirk shooting just proves that we are the worst, man. My party is the worst. I got people celebrating, hoping that he dies. Are we for real right now? Where's the empathy? Where's the respect, man? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And whether or not I agree with his political opinions, all he truly wanted to do at the core was see this country be the best. And I can respect that. And to see people just be blatantly disgusting, man, we're the worst, man. We're horrible.
And he's right. The fact that this even has to be said shows how far we've fallen. But when political violence happens, it shouldn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or apolitical. The reaction should be disgust. And this is why it's so important to hold your own side accountable.
Well, because what? His beliefs? So what? No two people think the same. No two people will agree on everything. Does that give us a right to take each other's lives? Because if that's the case, the whole world is against each other. Couldn't handle him on an intellectual level, so you resorted to challenging him with a gun. And you know which political party I'm talking about. Every political party has that flaw, and that's yours.
I just got the news that Charlie Kirk passed away, and I don't care what your political party is. I don't care what you believe in. That was a man of God, and y'all took his life. That is a father. That is a son of God. That's somebody's husband. Like, this world is so evil.
Now, I don't agree with Charlie on a lot of things, and there were plenty of takes where I thought, yeah, no. But disagreement is not the same thing as dehumanization. Some people see those same views, and instead of trying to debate them or just ignore them, they're filled with rage. That's what happens when you indoctrinate people to believe that anyone on the other side, the other team, is less than human, is garbage, is literally Hitler, and therefore deserves to die. We saw that happen with Trump and his multiple assassination attempts. The far left extremists cheering that on. That kind of thinking doesn't stop at a comment section.
So breaking news, Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck. That was the last bastion. I can't be a liberal no more. You see the comments? I hope the gun is okay. The same people asking for moral decency. I cannot in good faith align myself with you guys anymore.
We can make TikTok videos about how much we hate them and have concern for them as a person and have deep empathy for them when they have been grievously harmed.
In the coming days, you're going to see things like this, as well as various other clips of him speaking on your newsfeed as a way of implying or saying outright that he deserved this. He didn't. Now, you may disagree viscerally with everything he's ever said, but he was a commentator. He had the right to articulate his views. That's what freedom of speech means. This is not someone I ever really agreed with, but this is a terrible thing.
What's great about this country is our freedom of speech, being able to debate, to speak the truth, to hold our own religious beliefs, political beliefs, and opinions on controversial issues even, like abortion, like gender, like religion. In America, you're allowed to voice those opinions, and that's a right that we have to fight to protect. To celebrate that murder, that is deeply un-American, and it goes against everything this country is supposed to stand for.
Charlie Kirk just got shot in Utah, and I wasn't I didn't feel this way until I saw the video of it happen. Charlie Kirk is a dumb idiot who says dumb things, but oh my god, I just really don't understand. We've come to this place of horrific political violence. I'm tired of watching violence happen on both sides of the political spectrum. Oh my god, I don't know why I'm so upset. I just watched somebody die.
I mean, you answered your own question. You said, I don't know why I'm so upset. I just watched someone die. That's why you're upset. That reaction is deeply human. The only concerning thing here is that you're surprised that you would feel this way. You can disagree with everything Charlie Kirk stood for. You can find his politics frustrating or even offensive and still feel empathy when you hear that he was murdered, because at the end of the day, he was a human being. He had a wife, he had kids, he had friends, people who loved him. If God forbid something happened to a far left activist that I disagree with, I would never feel glee at that violence, because no normal person would, unless they were deeply troubled and indoctrinated. Normal people do not look at a murder like this and say, yay! I disagreed with him, so now he should die. Now, if those feelings of empathy do not come naturally to you, then at least recognize the principle here, what this actually means when it comes to debate. This isn't just about Charlie Kirk specifically. It's what it means for critical thinking, for freedom of thought, shooting those you disagree with on a college campus. You don't see the issue here? You don't have to like him or agree with him to recognize that celebrating his death is wrong. Feeling that sadness isn't weakness, it is proof that you have not lost your humanity.
Listen, I'm not one to cry on social media, but I am grieved right now. I'm angry and I'm heartbroken. If you look at these comments, Charlie Kirk just passed away, God rest his soul. This man was just trying to stand for truth in a dark and twisted society. He was just trying to have conversations with people. And he just got murdered. You look at the comment section and people are mocking him and saying serves him right. This should grieve you. This is demonic, seeing that woman get stabbed in the neck. And we can just scroll to the next video.
And he referred to Irina, which was another tragic case that happened recently.
The way this woman covered her mouth and tried to remain silent during the last moments of her life, as if she didn't want to disturb anybody or bring attention to what just happened to her. And mind you, Irina Zaruska was living in a bomb shelter before she moved to the United States, hoping for a safer life. Her family was hoping she would have a safer life.
So this was the Ukrainian woman who was murdered for no reason, and now we're faced with this. It's been a very difficult month, and all I want to say is don't lose your humanity or your empathy for the real victims. No matter their politics, their race, right, their gender or sexuality, whatever. We can disagree, we can debate. We do not shoot people because we have different political views.
I hate Charlie Kirk. I hate Charlie Kirk probably as much as or more than the average American hates Charlie Kirk. I hate Charlie Kirk as a queer person and as the son of two immigrants. I also am really scared for what the implications of today mean. I think that America has been a boiling pot that's been simmering for a long time, and now we are starting to see the direct consequences of it boiling over. I also don't believe that he deserved to get shot, and if that makes me a fake leftist, so be it.
Me trying to figure out why the party that has morals and empathy is celebrating someone getting shot. Even Jeffree Star.
Like, what is going on, dude? For speaking the truth? That's what happened? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
So many pro-Palestine people saying that I shouldn't pray for him because you disagreed with them. What's wrong with you? You think God wants you to celebrate his death? You think God doesn't want you to pray for his soul? Do you want me to jump up and down in joy because I disagreed with him and then he was shot in front of a crowd? This is bad news for everybody.
Someone just got assassinated, and if you're cheering for that, you're sick in the head.
His wife and children were in attendance, dude.
Dean Withers even, who disliked Charlie Kirk.
Imagine being a 12-year-old, you know, watching your dad die. Nobody deserves that. Not even Charlie Kirk.
He is in tears over this. Again, a deeply human response. I thought liberals were against gun violence, but then you shoot a Republican father. Not just that, they celebrate it. They're all for gun violence now when they disagree with the victim. She's exactly right to call out that hypocrisy, because you can't march against gun violence on Saturday and then turn around and celebrate a political assassination on Sunday. You can't claim to want safer communities and then laugh when a man is murdered. Again, for sharing his opinion. Every shooting should horrify you, regardless of political beliefs, even when the victim is someone you don't like. If your principles only apply to your side, then they're just excuses for your rage and bloodlust. It's also about what kind of country we want to live in. A place where we fight ideas with debate, or a place where we silence people with violence. This moment is forcing us to choose. Do we value free speech, basic humanity, empathy, even for people we disagree with, or are we going to let rage and tribalism turn us into the very thing that we claim to hate? Because once violence becomes the standard response to a different opinion, there is no democracy left to defend.
今回の事件は怒りと深い悲しみだけを残しました。銃規制を掲げるはずの陣営がこの出来事を喜ぶ反応を示した点については正直理解が追いつきません。道徳と共感を重んじるとされる陣営の内側にある矛盾があらわになったと言わざるを得ません。日本に例えると言論の自由を掲げながら他者の言論を妨げる集団の態度を思い出します。当チャンネルにも同じく心ないコメントが少数寄せられたのは非常に残念な気持ちでした。チャーリーは世界各地で支持を集めた保守の活動家でした。X 上でも各地で多くの追悼の投稿が相次いでいます。私たちもチャンネルのリニューアル以前から彼の言論を追い続けてきました。すべてに賛同したわけではないにせよ、国体や文化、治安をめぐるグローバリズムの課題にいち早く警鐘を鳴らし、若い世代とも丁寧に対話を重ねてきた姿勢は、これからも記憶に残り続けるはずです。そして、残していこうと思っています。心よりご冥福をお祈りするとともに、遺族の皆様にお悔やみを申し上げます。